Hello and welcome back to the From a Skein podcast. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knitting Chris. I generally go by Kristen. For the most part, some of my family and friends call me Chris, but that seems to be the name that I chose a long time ago, so I continue to use that. It's been a couple weeks since I've been back here, but I've been pretty busy, and I like to tell you about what I've been up to and show you some things that I've created in this time. So I am here at my home in Pennsylvania. We live in the mountains. It is still a gorgeous fall day here. I don't think it's officially fall yet. That will happen in the next week or so, but we're still having temps in the high 70s to almost 80, but there's really not a ton of humidity. I just returned from a trip to the Finger Lakes up in Lake Seneca, where I spent some time relaxing. So that was really nice. I didn't get a lot of knitting done. I did do some walking, hiking, and relaxation there. So it was really very nice time. I will get on to the things I've been crafting and things I've been doing. So I don't have a lot of finished objects. I wish I did, but I don't. I have one that's been lingering, one pair of socks actually that's been lingering on my needles, not because of anything that the pattern writer did or any other reason other than I just needed to finish them. These were socks that were knit for my husband. So he has quite a larger foot than I do, and I know he's going to watch this, so I'm sorry. I have to say that he has a larger foot than I do, but it's quite larger than mine. And also my daughter's. So he gets, he doesn't get as many socks because it takes a little bit longer. But the pattern is even a shorty one, but it's a great pattern. I'm going to show the socks. Here they are. It's a great pattern, and I'd like to go over a little bit about it and why I really thought it was kind of neat. So I'm just going to hold one so I can kind of explain. This is called the Everyday Sock Pattern, and it is by Rachel Bulahanis. I apologize if I've pronounced her name wrong. The reason I like it is it kind of has this it mimics, your socks that you would find in the store. Am I trying to recreate something store-bought? No, but I know the kind of socks that my family likes to wear. This has like a knitted hem that is then folded down, and you catch the back of it. I don't want to give too much away. You catch the back of it as you're knitting another part. It also has this kind of neat, little, I don't know if it's a cuff, what you would consider it. Has a neat heel flap here. I believe it's almost like I have a partridge heel flap, which is just a 4-row repeat. The other thing it has, if you can see it there, a little bit of patterned kind of area where it kind of is a little tighter in the knitting because it's again, it's a different pattern portion of the sock. So if you've ever worn like a bombas sock, or some kind of like a running sock where you might get a little bit of compression there at the arch of your foot, this sort of mimics that. And I actually tried these on even though they're way too big for my feet, and it truly does, this part of the pattern does give you that feeling. And then I finished it with a traditional knitted decrease for the toe. So they are finished. Again, there's 2. So the details on them, were started, I can't believe I'm going to say this, September 19th, 2023. Were finished on September 11th, which actually is my anniversary before September 11th kind of crashed into our world here in the United States. So we do celebrate it, but we do remember those who gave so much during that day. So anyway, I finished them that day and I gifted them to him, but like the great wife I am, I took them back and said, you can wear them after I finish this for the podcast and photograph them. But the yarn is Ruby and Rose's plump rose sock. And I do believe it's an 80-20. Base, 80% merino, 20% nylon. It is super squishy. It is the Equinox colorway. So again, super bright, but really great. The dyeing is great. It's a good fall color. It's super bright again. I did use the US 1 2.25 millimeter sock yarn needle. So I use a 9-inch circular needle for my socks. And that is just, you know, been working pretty well for everything. What I didn't finish anything else. I've been close to doing some things, unless you consider one sock a finished thing. I don't consider one sock a finished thing, but I will show it to you. I did start a new pair of socks. So this was the skein that I showed last episode. This is a sock knit out of Legacy Fiber Arts, and this is their steel toes base, which is 70, I believe it's 75-25 nylon, and 75% wool, 25% nylon, in the color Wonder. And it is a sock kit. So they make a smaller put up, about 200 yards, I think it is. And it is the coordinating colorway and then the main colorway. So this blue is the coordinating colorway. And I kind of modified my regular sock recipe that I make for myself because I didn't know with the yardage how I was going to do. I think I could have left my because I wear women's size 7, it's pretty average. I could have left that go and done my regular sock recipe for these and been fine with the yardage of the yarn, because I think there's plenty. I did do just a little contrast up here at the ribbing, and then I only did 16 rows of ribbing, which gave me about a little over an inch of a ribbing up here. I usually do 24. I think I could have probably done 24 and been fine. And then I shortened up this leg of the sock. Usually I do like 50 to 55 rows, and that's kind of funny that I count that, but I do. And this time I only did 40. Then I did the heel and the heel flap and the heel turn in the coordinating color, and then started the gusset decreases down here and the foot of the sock in the main color, and the toe decreases in the matching coordinating color. So there, it's really lovely yarn. I think this is a beautiful sock. Again, it's not a bad length on me at all. It's a nice sock, so I could definitely have made it a little bit longer this way up here, and I will have plenty of yarn. I will show you that I have started the second sock with, again, here's the main color skein, and I started the second sock, and in true fashion, there are tons of ends whenever you do this kind of thing, and I did not weave them in as I go. But I did just start the ribbing on that, and I'm down to starting with the actual portion of the sock, the foot of the sock. And so it's just a small start, but it will now go quickly. I tend to do repeats of like 5 rows at a time when I'm sitting there, maybe during lunch if I get a lunch at work, or you know, if we're going someplace and I can quickly, you know, whip out 5 rows, rounds or rows. That actually is something I do all the time. So that's another thing I've been working on. I think it's a great thing. Socks are a great traveling project. I'd love to hear what your favorite traveling project is, if you have one. So the other thing I've been working on, and I'm at the place where I need to actually attach another skein, and then I'm going to probably finish it up with like one more row, is the granny square blanket. It's just a traditional one that I have been doing. This one is for my daughter's friend, and it's pretty big. I thought maybe I would have it finished, but I think because we took the trip up to Lake Seneca that I didn't get a chance, but it is really almost done. So you can kind of see here. I don't know with the lighting if you can see the color. That is pretty close if I hold it up there. It is, I love this yarn, the colorway Sun Gold, and I'm using the size H hook, which is a US 8, 5.00 millimeter. I do find this, again, I bought this one at Joann's. I think this handle on this one is very comfortable for me. Again, it was a couple dollars, you know, and I think it's been working well for me, and I'm super excited. I think I'm just going to, my plans for this are to just continue with this, to put you know, another row or so on it with a new skein, and then to do the scallop border. And I think that that will be a finished gift that I can give to my daughter's friend. I think her baby shower is in the next like week or so. So that should be an easy finish for me. One other thing that I think I forgot to bring out here, I'll have to show it next time, was I pulled out a shawl that I wanted to finish that I had started. I think I forgot it, so I will move on to the next thing. Another thing that I wanted to kind of work on or start was just something for fall, like a shawl or something for myself. So I picked out the pattern. It's called Sky of Diamonds. It's by Janina Calilio, and I apologize, I'm not great with people's names. She goes by that her business is Woolenberry, and she writes a lot of really great patterns for one skein of fingering weight yarn, shawls, or scarves that you could just wear. A lot of times I'm cold in the wintertime or in the fall, and I just want something to kind of wrap around me or right around my neck, and it just is a nice little layer that you can put under or right next to your skin with your shirt, with your coat or jacket. So I'm going to be starting that in the next time, and I wound this up because I thought it was going to have some time when we were in New York, and of course that didn't happen. But this is the Sweet Fiber yarn. It is their single base, and it's 100% merino wool. It's in this gorgeous color called maple. So again, why I wanted, it almost matches the cushions back here, but it is a little more red. But it's a gorgeous fingering weight yarn, and I will probably be starting this. The pattern calls for a US size 6 needle. I will be using a 5. I tend to be a loose knitter, so I'm going to go down a needle size, and then I'm just going to knit, and I'm going to try to use up most of the skein. The pattern is a paid for pattern. It's usually very reasonable. She always has like a sale a couple times a year where you can buy 2 or 3 patterns and get one free, which is usually what I do. And I think she writes really great patterns, very clear and easy to understand. They're easy for any, I think, knitter, if you can be a beginning knitter and make most of her patterns. So I do highly recommend that. I, like I said, want to start this and see how far I get next time. So maybe I'll have some of this to show you. I hope so. Let's see what else I have been doing. I went, when we were in New York, we went to Watkins Glen. So if any of you are familiar with that area, there's beautiful hiking in that area, the gorge. Watkins Glen itself, the downtown has a nice little yarn shop, and I visited it last year. I also visited this year. They are super helpful in that shop, and they have real nice staff, and I think it's owned by several women and that are local and that are knitters. So I got some yarn there, and I thought I would just share with you what I got and just show it to you. The 2 skeins that I bought, Leading Men Fiber Arts, in their Showstopper colorway, which is the fingering weight yarn, and it is 463 yards, 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. If you haven't noticed, that is a favorite of mine, right? That is the favorite. I bought 2 skeins of this. So the first one is super colorful. It is called Masquerade, and so if you know me, I am not a warm kind of color knitter. My favorite colors are blue, purple, and green. But guess what, guys? This one has purple and green in it, but also throws that little kind of rusty red in there. I think it's a perfect fall yarn to knit some socks. It's got really great depth. I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's got great dyeing on it. They're stunning dyers. I've knit with some of their sock yarn before. It's great. And I'm super impressed with the 463 yard put up. So I did buy this to knit some socks. Somebody requested some. And then I just couldn't pass up this really pretty, and I don't know how it's going to come across. It's called Moonstone. Well, first of all, you had me at Moonstone. Like, sometimes it's the colorway, right? Have you ever just really noticed that? Like, they can name it any stinking colorway that I think is really cool, and I might be interested in it. Like, sometimes, does that happen to you? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But also, you're not going to I'm not going to pass up, a purpley blue kind of, I call it blurple color. And that's exactly what this is. It's lovely. It's the same base. So for this, I would consider doing one of, like a 1 skein shawl, or maybe a scarf or something, maybe even a hat. It's very, it's variegated, but not heavily like the other one. It's mainly the same color, just various shades of it. And I just fell in love with it. So it was something that I purchased there. Something useful that I thought would be great. These are by the Cocoa Knits. There are, and it looks like there's 60 of these, nylon coated steel. They are colorful split ring markers. So I'm gonna just pop them up here for you to see. And that is the actual shape of the marker. I'm gonna try and, yeah, I guess I can pop the lid off so you can kind of see in there. You can see without, I'll drop a couple, I'm sure. But anyway, they are these tiny little stitch markers that you can use either on your knitting. They're not sharp at all, so they're not going to snag anything. I really think they're nice for marking. I think, like, you know, if you wanted to mark off rows, if you were counting something, or if you had to do decreases certain places, I think they're great. They come in these small, and they're all colorful. Try to show them without spilling. Nice little colors in there that are perfect. You know, you can use them for different things. So they were very inexpensive. So I purchased them as well. I think, you know, it's kind of fun to share some of the things that we use for tools and some of the things that we make our knitting either more pretty, not more pretty, prettier, I don't know, some functional things that are pretty that we use. I guess maybe that's the best way to phrase it. So, things you're not going to find on this podcast, me being real formal. You're never going to see me with a brand spanking new manicure because that's just not me. You're not going to see me in some kind of fancy clothes. Hello, I live in the mountains. I like my flannel. I like to get dressed up every once in a while too, but I'm pretty down to earth. So you're not going to see anything fancy here. I hope that doesn't bother you at all. Just some other things that I wanted to talk about, what I've been listening to. We've actually been going to, you know, some local places around where I live. We've been listening to some cover bands, whether they've had like, you know, street shows or, you know, been playing at some local wineries or places. I was able to see a college friend who I hadn't seen for probably 30 years and get to hear him play at his gig in like about an hour from my house, which was really fun, and he did a great job. My daughter and I were asked to play at a local winery for an upcoming fundraiser for our local chorale group, our adult chorale group. So I am looking forward to playing that gig with my daughter. We both play the flute. She's much better than I am. That was her major in college. I will play the piano. She will play the flute. We might play a couple pieces of flute together. And, you know, on Spotify, I'm also listening to maybe some 80s and 90s mixes, which might include some Fleetwood Mac, some Journey, some Rush, you know, anything from there, some Phil Collins, that kind of thing. My cat is coming up here. If you see him, come on. It looks like he might want to star in the next episode. I'm not sure, but he might come and join in. What I'm reading, so I'm so excited to tell you that I finally finished that book that was driving me crazy. I'm not going to share the name of it because it wasn't the book's fault. It was my fault. I just couldn't get into it and concentrate. So I have moved on and just started while we were away, The Women by Kristen Hanna, and it is fabulous, and everything that everybody says about that book being really good. I'm having a hard time putting it down, so there we go. It's actually about women. So if there's, you know, if you have been, I don't know if they say trigger warnings or whatever. It's about a woman nurse who becomes a nurse, and then actually, as soon as she becomes a nurse, goes to Vietnam. So it's fictional, completely fictional, but I'm sure there could be some triggers out there for people. So, you know, I don't know all the trigger warnings because I haven't been through it, but I actually, you know, would recommend. Kristen Hanna writes great books, even, you know, about other, you know, subjects. They're fiction, but I've enjoyed her as well. So, but anyway, that is it. That's what I have. If you hear the purring, my cat is here. I don't know if he'll let me pick him up and let him see you or not. But anyway, I wanted to say another thing. Just really thank you so much. You know, my last video here got over 1,000 views, which is like amazing to me, and over 100 subscribers. So I really am thankful for all of you. I think eventually, there's the cattail, we'll get into, you know, talking about, like, you know, having a giveaway at some point. I don't know when that'll be. I haven't decided, but I would love to do that. And I'm just so thankful for you and for your kind comments. If there's anything that you want to see, that you want me to talk about, that if you want me to demonstrate, do any kind of demonstrating videos, I am open to your suggestions, and I just thank you so much for stopping in with me today. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there. I watch a lot of different ones of myself, and I am always amazed by everybody's creativity and talent. So I'm thankful for you and grateful to share this time and space with you. I hope you have a great day and that you enjoy your crafting, your making, and your art, and your music. See you later. Bye-bye.